I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your bullish bit brought to you by bitrefill.com, your one-stop shop for living on a Bitcoin standard. Sign up and grab gift cards for eSIMs, gaming, e-commerce, your travel needs, food, and much more, and you can buy them all with Bitcoin and Lightning. Sign up today and use code BTC Sessions 10 for some special perks. I wanted to focus in on some of my experiences with the Oslo Freedom Forum, and I guess the spillover from Prague to the Oslo Freedom Forum. And so one of the more impactful things that I kind of experienced between those two things was I had the honor of doing a keynote in Prague. And the keynote talk was about the Canadian trucker protest, namely what happened, how we set things up in haste, where we basically fucked up, and then what tools are available to us now to correct those missteps, so that when it's actually an instance of lives being on the line, how do we correct so that 100% of funds get where they need to go and it's done relatively privately and safely? And so I basically did kind of a walkthrough of all of that on stage in Prague. And there were a few really great people there that I had met previously at the Oslo Freedom Forum that were in Prague. One of them, her name is Luda. She's wonderful. She does a lot of work on human rights violations in post-Soviet states. And she actually it was the Canadian trucker protest that clued her into, oh, wow, Bitcoin can actually work when the legacy financial system fails me. And she was trying to get protective equipment just for civilians into Ukraine as things were kind of kicking off there. And she found that just like getting protective vests and like helmets so that people didn't, debris or get shot or whatever, just getting that type of stuff into the country was going to take weeks. But then she looked at the trucker protest. She's like, maybe Bitcoin will work. She got everything in on day 2 of the conflict. So it was like, it probably saved a lot of lives just by utilizing Bitcoin. And so in talking about it in Prague and saying like, here's what we did, this is kind of where things were done poorly, this is how I wish it would have been done, and correcting for that, I had a lot of human rights activists approaching me in Oslo saying, this is actually perhaps a solution to some of our problems. And I also had people that were already utilizing Bitcoin as a way to fundraise and protest in adversarial environments, realizing that their setups were not up to snuff and that they might want to make adjustments and shift from a singular Bitcoin address to solutions like BTC Pay Server and CoinJoin and multisig and things like that. And so I think we're on the cusp of people kind of waking up to the fact that Bitcoin can step in when, this top-down financial system fails them. And 2, that there are lots of tools to even further improve on just like using Bitcoin willy-nilly, which is like kind of the typical, oh, we'll just get a Bitcoin address. You can improve upon that quite a bit by just familiarizing yourselves with the tools that are available today. And 3, it's all going to get a lot easier to be secure and private with Bitcoin as time goes on. The tools are going to continue to get better. So that's kind of why I'm bullish, why I'm excited. Again, what Gladstein has done with his financial freedom track at the Oslo Freedom Forum is impressive. I like it because the event itself is not a Bitcoin event at all. Bitcoin is just there because it's a useful tool to be used in the background. And not everyone there gets it. Some people there oppose it, but I think over time it'll be harder and harder to ignore, and it'll become more and more clear why it's important. And I think it's important that Bitcoiners inject themselves into spaces where we understand it can be helpful and just fight that uphill battle of getting people to realize what this thing is capable of. So anyways.